great good morning, everyone. It is 9:15 on my Bacardo Jewelers watch this beautiful but chilly Tuesday, February 3rd, year of our Lord 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America. I could prove it because I've been here a while. It's also the place for the brave. Like the veterans we salute today, thanks to our man John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care senior care group. Veterans we lost, but celebrate, like David Charney, Harding, Sam Seminaro, Trip Park section of West Scranton, Clarence Whipple, Tunkhannock area, but late of Phoenix, William Connor, Scranton, Alan Bear, Vestal, New York, and Roger Bellis, Dallas. The United States of America, the country founded with the certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, amazing, irreplaceable founding fathers that government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups. It was not something that could be controlled by government or government officials, because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter what they do with it. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they had them uniquely and for the first time in human history, somehow a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so we gavel to order this meeting, today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that we will, because of that commitment to common sense, provide a sanctuary of sanity for you in a world where, I'm forgetting her name, the goofball who was talking about stolen land. And she got called on it. This is at the Grammys. She got called out on it. The Indian tribe wants her house. Good for her. Let's see if she can walk the walk. Yeah, they're insane. Please don't think it's you. Don't say, well, maybe. Oh, maybe they have a point. No. Do not give up your common sense, your sense of right and wrong for these fools who are in leadership and prominence, whether it's Hollywood or D.C. or New York City or wherever. They are insane. So the Democrat Party is not just willing, they're chomping at the bit to close the government down, actually to keep it closed, so that you don't have to use an ID to register to vote. I wonder why. It's something called the SAVE Act, and it's got common sense things in it. And first they'll lie and say, well, it's already the law. And second, they'll say, well, it's just it makes it more difficult to vote. Yeah. Unbelievable. Rich McHale says, I apologize for not being curtain on important celebrities, but maybe Marilyn Manson. It wasn't Marilyn Manson. But anyway, statement at the Grammys had well, maybe Marilyn Manson made a separate statement. The goof I'm talking about, young girl, it'll come. Well, you guys will tell me. That's how it has to work. Anyway, some validity about stolen. Oh, wait, was that Charlie Manson? My bad. Yeah. What a bunch of fools. And Ricky Gervais called them out appropriately. And he's not a conservative. He's just somebody that makes sense. They come and tell you this nonsense. Well, now the Indian tribe wants her land back, whoever that celebrity is. I want to see what she does. Maybe she donates her mansion, which was, by the way, gated. Walled and gated. Billie Eilish, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm living in a gated, walled mansion, multi-million-dollar mansion. I'm angry about stolen land at the awards, but I don't think my land was stolen. Yeah, they are as phony, as empty, as vapid as you think. Oh, it's taken me 3 days now to bring Cutie back up to an intellectual level after she watched the entire Grammys. It's taken me 3 days to wash that out of her. All right. We've got to take our first commercial break because we love our sponsors. And then we've got a little history, a little music, and then you. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. February 3rd, 1958, the Silhouettes had the number one R&B hit with Get a Job, and this is a dark day in this country's history. The 16th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution providing for a federal income tax is ratified, and they've been spending money like drunken pigs ever since. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. Somebody says Grammys are a forgotten event that lost any credibility. It's a freak show of wokesters. Yep, it really is. I've only seen the clips because I told Cutie, I said, no, I cannot watch it. It's just not going to happen. Oh, in any event, let's get right to the blower. We got Donald from Pittston. Hey, Donald, how are you?
Well, good news. The first lawsuit on that gender that me and you were fighting for 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah, $2 million. It's all fake, lies. See what I'm saying? And now all these people, they were saying you're going to commit suicide. It was all coming out in court. There's all lies. The doctors conned the kids and the parents. These people are evil. That party is no good. I try to tell you this. Now they're all centrist. Oh, the Page Cognetti's, this guy. Oh, we don't never hurt a child. He never said nothing about the border or this when it was going on. Oh, what an open border. They're all running centrist now. They're fooling the people again. And it's sad.
You know, I say this, Donald. All right, so if I'm Paige Cognetti, I'm running against Paige Cognetti. I'm running against Rob Bresnahan. Now, she's a wacko left-wing lunatic. Understood. Why aren't you proud of your positions?
Exactly.
But they're not. They're ashamed of their positions. They run based. Now, the positions are based on, I guess this is my conclusion. Their positions are based on lies, whether it's this gender-affirming care or girls and boys and girls locker rooms and sports, whatever. So their positions are based on lies, so they don't think it's a big deal to lie about their positions. That's my conclusion. Why don't they just
say what they're for, like buying away all this stuff, and then you don't vote for them in the first place? But they say over century, they don't mention that. And what happened in Virginia in this one debate with Sears, the person froze there, Spangelberger, when they were asked these questions. They just froze. They don't say nothing, like a statue. And they don't, for like 2 minutes, they don't say nothing. You're not going to respond to the question about the district attorney guy or the men and women sports and stuff. They're silent. Like, if you're for the position, say it. If you're against it, say it. It's simple, like you said. Don't tell the people what you want. Now, I'm just glad it's over with. It's now everybody's suing.
Well, here's the thing. There's appeals, and this was a state court ruling, so now it has to happen in other states. And it's got to snowball. This is a good start.
Oh, it is. There's already 20 cases they said on Fox.
The scummy,
there's more and more piling up.
The scummy parts of
class action.
The scummy parts of the medical community that have been exploiting children and making a fortune. By the way, making a fortune.
You hit the nail right on the head. They're exploiting kids. Don't you want to? Oh, you don't want to help a child. You don't want to feed a child like SNAP or whatever. They just exploit the kid to get what they want. Yep. And that's wrong. That's unconscionable. I'm just so happy that they finally won it. They did get $2 million. They said that was a low verdict, even the person said, for what they did to her body and everything, whatever they maimed and mutilated this person.
There may have been some fault placed on the parents for being stupid idiots too. But,
but they were conned. The parents said they're going to commit suicide if you don't make your daughter into a male or something, and they got scared and went along with it.
And the sad part is the exact opposite is true. That more suicides occur from people who do transition. It's scary.
Just like that guy said. That Hakeem Jeffries, he turns everything around.
Oh, he
said by following a transgender, following a little girl, that's going to make it worse. It's for the little girl. Everything they do, they switch around.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Again, we have to always remember.
There's less transgender, so there's more predators. This guy's mentally insane, these people.
We have to remember that they are. They're mentally ill. We have to remember the Democrat Party has been overtaken by mental illness. Yep.
Like Fetterman even says, right and wrong. You can't just deny the truth.
Yep.
If it just because it's your party. I mean, come on, you gotta say for what it is. You don't have no dignity or nothing.
Hey,
But
Donald.
I'm just so happy that they said this the first settlement.
It's a good start.
They got to shut this nonsense down altogether and get back to normalcy. Men in men's locker rooms and women's locker rooms and everything else. If they want to get it, just shut it down. That's not supposed to be for children. Telling them confusing them about their gender. That's all they're doing. They're just creating another problem for the government to solve. You know that. But thanks to your efforts and Hannity and everybody on Fox, I hope Fox runs with this for like a week or two to expose it to everybody, what the lies of the left, because that's all they do. You said every day they just lie, and whoever's supporting this stuff is crazy. The money that's behind it, and why are they doing it? They just want to. I think it's a group of globalists that just want to weaken America.
Well, crazy is too kind, Donald. Crazy is too kind. They're insane and worse. Thank you, my man. My Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me, and it's Valentine's Day. Don't forget, Valentine's Day's coming up, 9:32 and change. We'll be back with our Veterans Tribute, the weather, and you, 570-883-0098. Our Veterans Tribute, this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you loyally, patriotically, dutifully by our man John Basiliga and another of his great companies. Serenity Care, a personal care community with 4 locations: Mid-Valley, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. Dementia care units at the Mid-Valley Jessup location, as well as the Kingston location. All 4 of these personal care locations have been completely renovated inside and out. They're accepting residents. John has a passion for providing the highest quality senior care in the area, and he's done it. And these beautiful personal care homes are the emblem that says it got done. Serenity Care. David Charney. We lost him January 18th. He was from Harding. Born in West Wyoming. He was a member of the Church of the Holy Redeemer of Corpus Christi in Harding. David honorably served in the United States Army during the Vietnam War as a communications specialist. Before his retirement, he had a career as a computer operator for the Social Security Administration. He was preceded in death by his wife, Virginia, but surviving are his son, David, a granddaughter, nieces, nephews, and other family members. David Charney. A guy I knew, Sam Sermonero. He was 97 when we lost him January 15th. He was from the Trip Park section of West Scranton. Preceded in death by his wife, the former Doris Velia, who died back in 2016. He was born in Dunmore, a graduate of Chester High School. He attended Penn State University. Sam Sermonero proudly served in this United States Army overseas during occupied Japan following World War II. Prior to retirement, he was employed for over 40 years by the Times Mirror magazines. Sam was a loving and devoted husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather. He was a longtime member of the great former St. Anthony of Padua Church in the Bull's Head section of North Scranton. He was the master pasta maker there. They had a great pasta dinner. Father Penn. He was a current member of the Mary Mother of God parish. Surviving 6 children, 8 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren. An incredible legacy, but tragedy also struck. He was preceded in death by granddaughter Gabrielle. Sam Sermonero. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by our man John Basiliga, featuring today his Serenity Care personal care community. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Well, this is brought to you by, well, it's synonymous with weather, Montage Mountain Resort. Joe tells us today, cloudy with a chance of flurries, high 28. Tonight, partly cloudy and cold, low 7. Wednesday, partly sunny, 25. Thursday, partly sunny, 25. This is skiing and snowboarding weather, and Montage is the place for it. And it means weather to me. I always wonder what's going on. Well, I got to go up there last weekend, and just, I'm telling you, I absolutely loved it. Cutie went on Sunday. She went skiing, went in the lodge. I mean, they've got a Wagyu burger. You gotta try. That was worth the trip in and of itself. But that's our weather, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain. This date, 1959, the day the music died. Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper killed when their plane crashed into the ground during a blinding wind and snowstorm. The pilot got disoriented from the storm, Murph says, and crashed the plane into the ground. All four aboard died. Holly was 22. Richie Valens was just 17. The Big Bopper, 28. Holly set up 26 concerts in 3 weeks, called it the Winter Dance Party, to make money after he broke up with the Crickets. They left from Clear Lake, Idaho, heading to Fargo, North Dakota. It spurred Don McLean to write his iconic hit, American Pie. Amazing. And sad, isn't it? 70. And I've read this and knew this forever, but I didn't know Richie Valens was only 17. La Bamba. My gosh. Anyway, we're back. Somebody texted in reference to this goofy mayor. Yeah, Bob, let everyone into our country, only they can't live near me if I'm a liberal. They can't live in my neighborhood or with me. I don't have to shop with them. My kids don't have to go to school with them. And my property is protected by gates, etc. So I'm safe. The listener calls them out, you're just hypocrites. But then points this out, which is true. We should welcome immigrants, good, honest, and hardworking new Americans. We need them. They're essential to the lifeblood of the country. They have been since the country was founded. Somebody else texting, why are none of the people in charge of Minnesota getting into trouble and being held responsible for what they're doing? It's very hard legally to go after, like this Don Lemon case is going to be a test case. How far do they get with the prosecution of Don Lemon, who egged on and they performed this invasion of the church because he had the cameras there and he knew it. It was a cooperative effort to disrupt church services by Don Lemon and the scumbags who did it. Now, if we go further to the sanctuary city policies, the sanctuary state policies, the sheriff refusing to cooperate with ICE that is causing these problems, it's hard to get at them. They've got, as most officials do, qualified immunity from that kind of lawsuit. We're going to see. Bob, LTS every day. I read once that American Pie was the name of the airplane. Not sure if that's true. Well, Joe from West Side, let's throw it out there. Was American Pie the name of the airplane? The plane that crashed with those guys aboard? I don't know. I've never heard that. Navy guy, Valentine's Day, dumbest holiday ever. I take my wife out and get her flowers many times throughout the year. Oh, well, aren't you the best, Navy guy? Don't you be virtue signaling at me, Navy guy. Cutie's going to get a flower and she's going to get taken out to dinner. And you're right. It's all phony. It's all fake. All of these holidays. They're greeting card holidays. They make them up, and then we go running around and we're forced to do things. But, you know, if you're not a naturally romantic type, which I sort of think I am, but I don't do it often enough, turn it on for Valentine's. All right? Turn it on for Valentine's. And then maybe you'll like it. And maybe you'll want more romance, and you'll keep doing it more and more. So maybe it's a good holiday to have as a reminder. But I got to tell you, if you bring something home from Picardo's, you're gonna be on the right track with your bride or your girlfriend. You really are. So think about it. We'll take a break and be back. man, Gary. Now, that's a love song. Isn't that great? Speaking of Bacardos and Valentine's Day. Number one, Murph says, on the easy listening charts, this date, 1962. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. Now here's Elvis. He went and served in the military. These were our music stars then. And as our friend Tom McNally points out, he's another one of these great Chaminade quality athletes. Anyway, he points out Billie Eilish, she's worth $50 million, has given $0 to the original inhabitants of this stolen land, reported by independent journalist Manny Murata. The phoniness, the hypocrisy, and I've told you this, it's unfortunate, but to be a left-winger and a supporter of today's Democrat Party, you have to be a liar to yourself and others, and you've got to be a complete hypocrite. Oh, yeah, and you got to have zero self-awareness. Let's take this, for example, sent to us by the electrician. Bob LTS, he says, Don Lemon was on Kimmel talking about how Trump's DOJ wants to intimidate and instill fear. Well, he's on with Jimmy Kimmel. I'm guessing Jimmy Kimmel jerked a tear. Anyway, he says, when he literally stormed a church service to intimidate and instill fear. You're right, electrician. Can't make this stuff up. The level of hypocrisy is staggering. These are truly awful people. They're divorced from fact, truth, and reality. And as a result, they have to have zero self-awareness. Don Lemon has zero self-awareness, like literally zero. He doesn't think anything he does should be judged by the standards that he lays out, because he doesn't even know he's doing it. Fred Duckman, on a different note, something we talked about moments earlier, he's telling me, remember that Waylon Jennings was part of Buddy Holly's group. How about that? As Johnny Carson would say, I did not know that. Waylon was appointed to drive the equipment bus to the next gig, so he didn't get on the plane. How about that? Fascinating. And Waylon Jennings was preserved for his greatness, preserved forever, and with us. Bob, what's your thoughts on Jeanine Pirro's comments on if you bring a gun into Washington, D.C., you're going to jail, even if you have a permit to carry? She doesn't carry, you're going to jail. I didn't hear them. I can't intelligently comment on them. There could be nuance and there could not. I don't know. But if you have a permit to carry the gun in Washington, D.C., and remember, this is a patchwork. If you're traveling, if you're a gun guy, and you carry a gun, or gal, and you carry a gun, you better know where you're going and what their rules are. I would suspect that Washington, D.C. does not allow you to carry the gun no matter where you're permitted. And that may be what she was saying. So, again, not knowing the context, can't go much further than that. My friend Paul says, once one of the clowns on the Grammys mentioned Ice Out, his wife Joellen turned it off. And even though Joellen loves the red carpet, but, well, Paul won't lower himself to watch any of these ridiculous shows. Well, don't get like the left that they're beneath you, even though they are. You sound like a lefty. No, they're just, they're stupid, vapid, empty people. And when these awards show are given credence, I remember I used to sort of like the Oscars. I'm talking about when I was a kid. After that, Look it. Just remember what we say on this show every day that I'm sure you all ascribe to. They're insane. Some are classically mentally ill. But without self-awareness, without an attachment to truth, fact, and reality, this is who you become. This is what you become. And it's sad. Hey, my Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10 o'clock. But I want to remind you, it's important for you guys to remember this stuff. I'm doing you a favor. Get your Valentine a great gift at Picardo Jewelers in Scranton. They got rings, necklaces, earrings, bracelets, birthstones, all of that. And I'm telling you, from 2 figures to 10 figures, they've got it. And they'll treat you the same if you're buying a $50,000 diamond ring or a $50 pennant. They will. And it's a great place, great family, great 4 generations, 3 generations. Amazing. So do it right this Valentine's. Get it at Picardo's. We'll be back. great good morning, everyone. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:08 on the nose here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Tuesday, February 3, 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care personal care community, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we lost this year and last, but celebrate today thanks to John, like Samuel Sermonero, Trips Park section of West Scranton, David Charney, Harding, Clarence Whipple, formerly of Wyoming County, but Arizona, William Connor, Scranton, Alan Bear, Vestal, New York, but he was from 40 Fort, and Roger Bellis, Dallas. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense will indeed provide you with a sanctuary of sanity for the balance of this morning. And we have to. They are insane. Hey, this hour of the Bob Cordaro Show brought to you by Tina Morocco, Global Sales Advisor at Premier Sotheby's International in Naples, Florida. She sells all of Southwest Florida. And if the chill is getting to your bones like it is to mine, get in touch with Tina and find out if maybe she's got just the right situation for you in Southwest Florida. You could reach her at moroccotina@gmail.com, MURACCO, Tina@gmail.com. That's probably the easiest address you have, but you could check out Sotheby's International in Naples, and you'll find her through that as well. So Valentine's Day is Valentine's Day, but there's something else really cool going on. My man Brian Hughes brought this to my attention. There's a first responders hockey game on Saturday, February 14th. Now, I guess she's the field general for all this, Julia Filchak. And it's a great thing. We're going to have her talk about this because she's with us now. Julia, welcome to the Bob Cordaro Show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me on.
I'm fantastic. I'm even better now that I'm talking to you. Tell us about this event on the 14th.
So it's going to be the first annual Battle of the Badges hockey. I'm part of the Wilkes-Barre City Firefighters. I'm a part of their athletic association. We put together a team full of first responders, and we challenged Scranton's first responders. So they put a team together as well, and we're going to be facing off at Mohegan Arena 1 p.m.
That is so great. And you found enough players on both sides, hockey guys, huh?
Yeah, so we had to pull a few from like volunteer fire departments and some other police departments, but it's mostly made up of Wilkes-Barre City first responders and Scranton first responders.
How neat is that? So 1 o'clock. So it's a standalone, or is it a preview prior to the professional hockey game? Or tell us about that.
Yep. So one ticket purchase gets you into our game at 1 p.m. and then the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins will be playing at 6:05 that night. So one ticket purchase gets you into 2 games. So it's a deal.
Neat. So is it going to be 3 periods, all that? What kind of rules?
Yep, we're going to have 3 periods of play, just like a normal hockey game, puck drop, national anthem. We're going to do the whole thing. So we're pretty excited, and we're selling tickets pretty fast. It's pretty impressive.
How does somebody get tickets or participate as sponsor or whatever?
So we have a flyer going around on Facebook, but you can also call Tyler Rothman at 570-208-5407, or you can email him as well. It's trothmann, TROTHMANN at WBSpenguins.com.
Okay, so you're going through the Penguins for the event.
So
Okay.
they also have an app that you can go through. If you catch the flyer, it's making its rounds on Facebook. You can scan the QR code, but that's probably the easiest way to order tickets is through him.
Now, my son's a cop in Wilkes-Barre. I didn't hear him talking about playing hockey. I don't think that's his sport.
Well, he can lace up, get on the ice, start practicing, and hopefully we could do this year after year.
You'd give him a spot, would you?
We would, absolutely. If you could skate, you're a first responder, you could skate, and you work for our cities, we'll make it happen.
Julia Filchak is our guest. She is shepherding this first responders. It's the first responders hockey game on February 14th, Valentine's Day. And it's at 1 o'clock that afternoon. And that's got to be a thrill to play in the big arena.
Oh, we are so thrilled. We are so ready. And they even said we get to have the gold horn that the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins have. So it really is a dream come true. Things that you think of and you just make it happen. It's surreal.
That's right. Julia, how did you pull this off? I mean, this is a lot of effort. You had to field the teams. There's no first responder hockey team in Scranton or Wilkes-Barre.
No, so I mean, the FDNY and NYPD, they have their game every year.
Yeah.
And it's huge. And I remember watching it and be like, oh man, that would be so cool. And unfortunately, that's usually the bigger cities. And I went to our athletic association. I was like, hey, I thought about this. This would be cool. I was throwing it out there. And they came back to me and they said, if you could pull it together, we'll do it. And we built a team together, and the association has been fantastic. And they've been helping me and supporting me, and we've been all working together and putting our heads together with ideas. And it just really launched off. I mean, even the Penguins, we've had meetings with them, and they've just been super supportive. Their reps are super excited. The people that work at the arena are excited. It just full-on support, and it's been awesome.
All right, so obviously you're a jock, and you love your sports.
Oh, yeah.
But so you're going to play? What position you playing?
I'm usually a forward.
Oh, so you play all the time?
No. I learned how to play when I was 21. Always loved hockey growing up, and I joined a beer league. The first time I put on skates, I didn't have pads anywhere else, and my knees were the size of balloons when I was done. And I just kept with it and just learned and asked people questions and had people help me, and I've just been playing ever since. And so I've been playing for a couple of years, and the community is great. The hockey community is great. Everybody's just so supportive and helping, and I love it. I'm very basic with stuff. When you said first responders, it's called the first annual battle of the first responders. So I looked up first responder hockey game, Scranton Wilkes-Barre or Wilkes-Barre Scranton, and it came up on my internet. So it's easy to find because it's hard for people to remember phone numbers or whatever. It's very easy to find. Just Google it. I DuckDuckGo it, but I DuckDuckGo'd it. And I found you right away. So that is going to be a lot of fun. I got to thank you for doing this and helping to put this together. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch next Saturday. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be able to do it without the help of the community. If, every ticket purchased really helped with this. And actually, I'll put this word out that part of the proceeds go to Patriots Cove, if you know about them?
No, I do not.
So Patriots Cove is an organization. They're in Pennsylvania, and they do events through the outdoors. So they'll take veterans and first responders and take them fishing, hunting. They're also currently building a lodge for the catastrophically injured and the ill. It's to house them and their caretakers and their families so that they can be in the woods. And yeah.
Neat. Well, that's good stuff. So on February 14th, 1 o'clock, first responders hockey game, Scranton versus Wilkes-Barre at the arena. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Julia, don't hesitate to call in to give us a brief reminder next week.
Sure thing.
All right. Julia Filchak, first responders hockey game on Valentine's Day. Not a bad gift, not a bad place to take your Valentine. Thank you again, and we look forward to hearing from you once more.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will return. Weezer. Murph says this date, 2005. It was the number 2 rock charts hit. Hey, Billie Eilish's house might be available to buy from the Indians. So you may be able to live in Beverly Hills. I don't think they're going to want it once she gives it to them because it's stolen. So there we go. Bob Cordaro back on WILK. My man Mark from Hazelton points out, and you had to see these jackasses. They did a reenactment of the Iwo Jima. I mean, this is blasphemous in my view. The Iwo Jima photo. The Marines on Mount, Mirabachi? It makes you sick. These people are fighting for rapists and child molesters and pedophiles and murderers. This is who they're raising, and it's the disgusting Minnesota state flag modeled after the Somali flag. I'm telling you, these people are mentally ill. They're mentally ill. Please don't. This is a clinical diagnosis. There's nothing in their pea brains that indicates mental health. None of them. None of these protesters. None of these, I don't even, I don't want to get into cuss words because it's disgusting. It's really crazy. Let's go to TJ from Wilkes-Barre. TJ, you got something going on? Fire away, man.
Hey, what's going on, Rob? How you doing, buddy?
Great.
Hey, listen, on the February 22nd, we're having another event at the Wilkes-Barre Township Firehouse, as we usually do, to get involved and get the people out to meet the candidates and to get inspired to help and volunteer and make sure we win an election. So it's February 22nd. Doors open at noon. We have food at 1 o'clock, and the speakers start at 2. Congressman Dan Muser is going to be there, of course. Magadan. We got Congressman Rob Bresnahan's going to be there. Stacey Garrity's going to be in D.C., but she is going to send a person. She might join us via iPhone, and we'll put it up on a video. We also have the MAGA boys are coming in from out of town. Frank Scavo is going to be there. Early Vote Action, Scott Pressler's group is going to be there.
Oh, great.
Convention of States.
He's fabulous.
I know. Moms for Liberty is going to be there. They're coming in from Monroe County. We got Turning Point, Noah Formica is coming in from Harrisburg, Pittsburgh area. Americans for Prosperity. John Lombardo from Luzerne County Council is going to be speaking. We got the POGOP, Matt Lamru's coming, the Misericordia College Republicans. And, of course, it's a free event. You know, we always have our free events. We're going to have some giveaways. I'm going to give out some T-shirts. And then you heard the trip to the White House. We're going to have Dan and Rob we're going to have another trip to the White House, and we're going to have over about 30 seats. We're going to give away 4 tickets at this event. I'm going to give away 4 seats. So you come, you put your name in. We're going to have a drawing for 4 seats, and then anybody moving forward, that is, we're going to talk to the candidates, local and state, and anybody that's a really great volunteer, gets a lot of petitions signed, do a lot of door knocking. We're going to give the rest of the seats of the bus out to the most active volunteers. Dan Muser, Rob Bresnahan, Stacey Garrity, they want to let these people know they appreciate them coming out, doing all the hard work, and we want to make sure that we're one big family. United we stand, and we're going to try to, keep the house and save the country.
Nice. All right, give us where is this again now?
It's at the Wilkes-Barre Township Firehouse. The date is the 22nd. It's a Sunday. It starts, doors open at noon. We're going to have hot dogs, hamburgers, French fries, all that stuff at 1 o'clock. And then the speakers are going to start promptly at 2.
Okay, neat stuff. Well,
Yeah,
call us
great
again
stuff.
about this, all right, Tej? You make sure you do.
I appreciate all the support you give us. Without you, we wouldn't have the movement we do.
These events are fabulous, and you're doing. It is God's work to save this country. I can't promote it enough, and I thank you for that, all of you guys, really.
Yeah, it's the volunteers. Honestly, you support the people in NEPA and in your listening audience, and I think we're servants for the people. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have this platform. And I know I'm blessed. I know you're blessed that we could help the people because the people matter.
Amen. All right, my friend. Thanks. TJ, we'll talk to you again about this. Thank you.
I'll call you next week. Thanks.
All right, man. 10:30 on the nose. That's what my Bacardo Jewelers watch says. And don't forget, a Bacardo's Valentine makes Valentine's Day work. Believe me. We'll take a break and be back. Veterans Tribute, the weather, and more. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. That's featuring today one of his great companies, the Serenity Care Personal Care Community. They offer personal care and dementia care services. Facilities in the Mid-Valley, Jessup, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston. Dementia services at the Mid-Valley Jessup location and the Kingston location. All four completely renovated inside and out. They're accepting new residents, and they are the gold standard for senior care in Northeast PA. Clarence Whipple. You guys will remember that name. He was 97, longtime resident of Phoenix, Arizona. He passed December 26th. He leaves behind his wife of 75 years, Barbara, 3 children, 4 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. He served this country during World War II in the Navy aboard the USS Ajax. Clarence was the third generation to run the family business, Whipple Brothers, Inc., the largest employer in Wyoming County, PA, for a number of years. And during his tenure, the company doubled in size to become the largest independent retail lumber business in the region. He served on all kinds of boards, all kinds of charities. He traveled the world with his wife and family members on retirement. Clarence Whipple of the Whipple Lumber Gang. William Connor. He was 85 when we lost him December 22nd. His wife, Anita Lentini Connor, he lost her back in 1993. Born in Scranton, graduate of West Scranton High School. He was a United States Air Force veteran. He was employed by Bell Telephone for nearly 30 years before retirement. He's survived by his daughter, Christina Rizzo, and her husband, James, his son, William, who, along with his wife, Thelma. He's also survived by his beloved grandchildren and other family members. William Connor, our great veterans, brought to you by our man John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care personal care community. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain. They're firing on all cylinders up at Montage. The conditions are perfect. It's fun. If you ski or snowboard, or if you drink and eat, which I do, you go to the lodge. Just a great atmosphere. Today, cloudy with a chance of flurries, high 28 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy and cold, 7. Wednesday, partly sunny, 25. Thursday, partly sunny, 25. And that's your weather, brought to you by the place that's synonymous with weather, and that is the Montage Mountain. Get up there and enjoy winter, believe me. The Beatles. Murph says this date, 1968, they recorded their hit Lady Madonna in 3 takes. How about that? If you remember Mel Allen. And that was Joe Piscopo, along with Chaz Palminteri, 2 of our favorites, talking Italian. And talking truth, too, believe me. I've got to say this, and it has to do with so many of the ethnic groups in Northeast Pennsylvania. They never complained. They never explained. And there weren't just microaggressions against them. There was brutal aggression against them because of their ethnicity, because of maybe the accent they had. They didn't complain. They just said, let's keep going, baby. You think about these people today. It's not just young kids. There's a bunch of left-wing flakes, a bunch of snowflake wokesters. Enough. Basta. I mispronounced it before. Mount Sarabachi in Iwo Jima. And these scumbag fools, mental patients in Minnesota, mocking it. Some Frank on the pipeline texts in, Bob, LTS, Patriots Cove are great people. They're local, right in Noxon, and our company supports them. That's good stuff. Patriots Cove. I did hear of it as she was speaking of it. I always think, and two, we have the other amazing resource, Camp Freedom, up north of Carbondale. Amazing. Oh, that's great stuff. Good. Somebody says, Democrats back the same centrist playbook to get elected and back in power for the midterms. Don't be fooled. Once elected and in power, within a year, they go back to open borders, transgender ideology, and tax increases. That's what they do. That's what they do. It's unbelievable. They're liars. You have to be a liar and a hypocrite to support today's Democrat Party. I'm sorry. Like there's a reality here that goes beyond being nice, being politically correct, and not calling things as they are. This Democrat Party is trying and has shut the government down. The federal government is shut down because of rapists, pedophiles, murderers, and other criminal illegal aliens. And they want non-Americans, non-citizens to vote. That's what's going on here. Oh, and they say it like they're fighting for the world. They're fighting for righteousness. They're sick. They're literally, Chuck Schumer, if he got into Clark Summit State Hospital, Chuck Schumer would not get out. I promise you. Hakeem Jeffries, the same. Think of these nutbags. AOC, Bernie Sanders, he'd be mumbling in a corner. Remember George Costanza on Seinfeld couldn't get out of the mental institution? That would be them. Elizabeth Warren, Congressman Crockett, they wouldn't even, Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, by the way, Greg Gutfeld, finally somebody picked up on Tim Walz as Rip Taylor. I've been doing it since he emerged as the nominee in last year's presidential election. Actually, 2 years ago now. Wow, 2024. But I'm telling these people, they're mentally ill. Now, Slick says, Bob, LTS, in my opinion, I don't think they're mentally ill. On the contrary, they know exactly what they're doing and getting millions for it. Greed and power are powerful things. But Slick, here's the thing. I know they're playing their own book, but they're saying it, and they're repeating literal nonsense with passion. They believe it. They've made themselves believe this insanity. There's clowns dying for it. That silly nurse and this good woman, I'm telling you. And then all the fools like Garofalo following, wearing a pin. Oh, what a bunch of jackasses. It's unbelievable. It truly is. They don't have any clue. They don't have any self-analysis, self-awareness. Truth is a stranger. Facts are irrelevant. Reality is not their game. Probably why a lot of actors fall into this, because they create unreality for a living. Unbelievable. All right, we got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will return 570-883-0098 to call or to text. La Bamba. Richie Valens, 17 when that plane went down. Also dying, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens. Well, I'm sorry, and JP the Big Bopper Richardson. And, of course, the pilot. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. Bulldog. Biden's stolen valor banner. Hometown hero banner placed in the Green Ridge section of Scranton by the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association. Some sensible members of that organization asked that it be taken down. 10 people said, no, we're keeping it up. Well, Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, you could disgrace yourself by associating yourself with that fool, but don't demean service in the country, which is what the hometown banner means. Biden banner, day 50. All right, as we head to the top of the hour, somebody says, Bob, you going to watch Washed Up Kid Rock and the other no-name artists at the Turning Point halftime shows? I heard all the unwoke, totally not gay, thick-skinned, manly men are watching it to own the loony left libtards. I know I am because it won't be political at all. No, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go out of my way to watch a halftime show. I'm happy they're doing it, by the way. This clown who's going to wear a dress and probably make an anti-ICE. And we were talking about this on one of my text chains. Roger Goodell says he has him to unify the country. That's why he's saying F ICE at the Grammys. I'm telling you, these people are mentally ill. It's serious, serious mental illness. They actually think, and so I'm happy for an alternative. I don't watch the halftime show anyway. What I generally do, I'll watch the first half somewhere. And my friend Ned has a party every year, and I'm going to that. And then I go home for the second half because I want to be in bed. It ends too late. Although I'm off the next day this year, so who knows? Who knows where life will take me. But no, I'm not. I'm not going to watch the halftime show. I am happy they are putting an alternative halftime show to Roger Goodell's sickening display and divisive display. Yeah, intentionally divisive display. Yep. This is what these people do. Roger Goodell. And man, you want want to talk about being better to be lucky than good? He came around at a time when the NFL was the only thing that could conglomerate an audience of consequence with all the fracturing in our media. And he rode that wave, but he's a left-wing sicko. Sick. By the way, somebody says our favorite mayor, the mayor of New York, just called masked agents cruel. But by today's count, 13 frozen to death in New York City because of that scumbag communist. 3 from other causes, and the garbage has not been picked up in a week. Thank you for reminding me of that. Oh, he is the phoniest piece of spit ever. Mamdani. Oh, and by the way, that's who's running Paige Cognetti's media. So more lies from Paige in her run for Congress while she screws up the city even worse. Yeah, we did. Isn't that a coincidence? No DPW contract for over 2 years. The garbage had to be picked up a day late. And we still have problem streets in the city of Scranton because of an incompetent mayor. She can't step up and do her job. She can't. It's just awful. It's just awful. And New York City's got it as bad as we do now. What a shame. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11 o'clock, which means it's time for the news with Brian Hughes. We'll be back. Don't forget, Picardo's means Valentine's Day. great good morning, everyone. It is 11:08 and change on my Picardo Jewelers watch on a beautiful but chilly Tuesday, February 3, 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care, personal care community, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year and last, but celebrate today thanks to John, like William Connor of Scranton, Clarence Whipple, Wyoming County, Samuel Seminaro, Trip Park section of West Scranton, David Charney, Harding, Alan Bear, Vestal, New York, but his gang was from 40 Fort, and Roger Bellis of Dallas. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense after that brief news adjournment, warning you and telling you and assuring you that our commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you for the balance of this hour. This just in, an adjunct to our news, Billie Eilish has gifted her $14 million mansion to Elizabeth Warren because she's the only real American, Native American that I know. The $14 million Eilish gated walled mansion on stolen land given to Indian Elizabeth Warren. So there's good news after all. So that provided by my man Mark Mayer. I'm telling you, these people, if they couldn't, they can't even be more ridiculous. It's crazy. By the way, this hour brought to you by our dear friend Tina Morocco. She is the global sales advisor at Premier Sotheby's International and Naples, but she sells all of Southwest Florida. She, it doesn't matter what you have, single home, condo, whatever. She sells it. And she's our source. And if you're feeling a little tired of the cold weather, a little tired of the freeze, well, give her a call at Sotheby's International Naples or get in touch with her at her email, moroccotina@gmail.com. That's MURACCO. So you go through all of these. By the way, I want to remind you, and if you're Catholic, it's probably the only people that care about it. It's St. Blaise Day today. The blessing of St. Blaise, you know, where they bless the throat? I've got to go get that done. But my man Nicky D always dutifully pointing that out to me. And we've got two Mother Teresas for today. Two St. Teresas, because I read it to myself yesterday and then forgot to read it on the air. So Mother Teresa for February 2nd, for yesterday. She says, I'm not sure exactly what heaven will be like, but I know that when we die and it comes time for God to judge us, he will not ask, how many good things have you done in your life? Rather, he will ask, how much love did you put into what you did? St. Teresa for February 2nd. And now St. Teresa, Mother Teresa, for February 3rd. She says, diligence, eagerness, fervor, they are the test of love. And the test of fervor is the willingness to devote one's own life to working for souls. We are not attached to a single place. We are willing to go all over the world. And she certainly did. The amazing St. Teresa, both for yesterday and today. But, yeah, my man, Mayor Jamie, letting me know, I hadn't heard from him in a little bit, but he's been in and out of the hospital, and God bless you, my friend. I'm happy you're out, and hopefully we get to see you soon. So Donald Trump yesterday And, he frustrates me a lot. He aggravates me a lot. He talks too much, all of that. But in the end, it comes down, okay, what's he actually doing? So amidst the cacophony that he creates, he comes up with this deal, a trade deal with India. Now, we've talked about all these countries quite a bit in the spring when the original tariffs were put in place. So we've come up with a trade deal with India. It'll still bring revenue into the United States. But if you remember, we couldn't sell Harley Davidsons. They were 100% tariffed in India. Now, I don't know if that's what they would drive, but the playing field wasn't equal. So now, this huge country, the largest population on earth, we now have a trade deal. And Modi said, this guy's a leader. He's a world leader. They really do respect Trump. They fear him, which is more important than anything. So this trade deal's been reached. Now, one of the components of the deal, because Trump has become frustrated with Putin. Yes, the same Vladimir Putin who sings Blueberry Hill. Yes, that's the man. Anyway, he's come up with a deal where India will not buy Russian oil. And that's a big deal because that's where a good deal of cash was coming, allowing the Russian economy to survive and for him, meaning Putin, to continue prosecuting the war in Ukraine. By the way, and this not an original thought of mine, but several observers, they said, do you remember 3 years ago, all the Hollywood freaks at all the award shows were wearing their Ukrainian I played it yesterday. That's right. Bill Maher was one of the guys who said it. Many others did too. They were all wearing their Ukraine buttons and pins and ribbons. Now, they had replaced, I guess, the AIDS one, and that was subsequently bought up. Now we got ice. Now we have anti-ice and no ice. These fools will just jump on anything, and they'll change the subject. Again, do you hear anyone talking about climate change? It's so fake, they don't even talk about it anymore. Not even mentioned. Their hypocrisy was exposed, but they kept going. But now they've moved on to no ice. And that's in order to protect and keep in this country rapists and murderers and pedophiles. I just, you cannot make up the phoniness at this level. And now the communist mayor of New York has allowed 16 homeless to die because he didn't want to disturb them in their tent and cardboard enclaves, as had always been done when weather became really bad. I mean, think about it. Bill de Blasio did this. So Mamdani stopped it, and 16 people are dead as a direct result. It's unreal. This is who we're dealing with. It's true mental illness. You can't put that on any plane of logic or sense. You just can't. But this is what we're dealing with. All right, we got to take a break. You could reach us by phone or text, and I'll get back to the text shortly. 570-883-0098. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. The Moody Blues. Murph says they debuted with their hit. That's their debut song? I'm just a singer in a rock and roll band. This date, 1973. Huh. How about that? That's a great debut song. Well, we've got problems on 81 North. Tyler Cornell's in the studio. What's happening, brother?
Back days. That's great. Yeah. So right now, 81 North, it's dealing with heavy traffic due to the left lane restrictions. There was guide rail repairs going on at exit 170, Bear Creek, Wilkes-Barre. But it does look like there was an accident within all that. So right now, the backlog is past exit 168, Highland Park Boulevard. The construction was supposed to be 8 to 11, but I'm worried that it's going to go on longer now because of that. So.
And you have any sense of the length of the tie-up or anything like that?
Not really. I just kind of, right before I was about to leave, actually, I saw it. It was all backed up, and it looked like the little dot had said the crash was like right by where they were starting at 170.
Okay.
So, yeah, so right now, like I said, the scheduled maintenance I talked about earlier in the morning, it was scheduled 8 to 11, and I thought, well, it should have cleared up. So I would hope within the next half hour to the hour it will be all done, and they'll wrap it up and get everybody kind of pushed off. But there is that lane restriction going on, so everybody's kind of getting tied up, and nobody knows where to go, it looks like. So,
all right. Well, well, and you know they're listening to us. We gotta let them. Hey, watch out.
yeah,
at least try.
Yeah, watch out. It's like same thing as yesterday. Just watch out for 168 and 170. So.
All right, Tyler Cornell. Thank you, my man. Yep. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's a headache. You know, it is. Hey, let's go to Mike from Duryea on Don Lemon. How are you, Mike?
Good. Yeah, you're a journalist, right? I guess you'd be called a journalist.
No, not.
All right.
Not by
the
any
question,
stretch of the imagination.
Well,
Don Lemon's not a journalist either, by the way.
Well, in other words, if you are a football player at the moment, you got to play for a team and get paid for it, right? So then you're a football player. Now, was a football player. So Don Lemon, he was a journalist, and they fired him. Now, to be a journalist again, don't you have to be paid for it by a company?
No, I mean, there's independent journalists. Like, well, the guy that exposed all the Minnesota fraud, he was actually doing journalism.
Well, I guess you're right to a factor where he's just taking pictures and just broadcasting online. You know what I mean? I guess you can classify that. See, I thought to be a journalist or like a football player, you got to be playing football and being paid for it. And to be a journalist, you know, I would assume that you have to be still doing journalism every day and being paid for it. That's what I thought.
And here's I looked up the definition while you were speaking, actually.
Oh, wow, that was good.
That's a person who writes for newspapers, magazines, or news websites, or prepares news to be broadcast. So they don't have to work for anyone.
Paid. Well, no, that's being paid. They're being paid by those.
Yeah, I mean, that's an old.
They are getting paid. I mean, all those outlets you just.
Though. He's a goofball, number one. But
I know that. I know that.
Yeah.
I just all those outlets that you just had mentioned. If I went to them with information, they would pay that person for the pictures or for the story. You know what I mean? So in other words, to be a journalist, you got to be paid. I imagine. So I don't think he was getting paid for this. Well, he might have been by the people that invited him to go. I mean, you know, people talk about this and that and how it was wrong for him to be arrested. But everybody's losing the thing is that you can't go into a place of worship, whether it's a mosque, whether it's a Jewish temple or a Catholic church. You just can't go in and disrupt. I mean, these people were not – they were worshiping God. I mean, they weren't Nazis in there saying we want to overrun the government. they were actually worshiping God. People are losing that now because, matter of fact, I'm watching this crap on TV with The View. I mean, these people are painting, and people from Hollywood are painting this guy like he's like a top class journalist. Yeah. You know that. I mean, it's crazy how these people are losing the fact that he went into a church of worship.
Well,
or a place of worship.
To defend somebody like him, and by the way, if you were covering it, you would have covered it. You wouldn't be trying to interview the pastor during the service.
That's
And
true,
while
yeah.
it was being interrupted, you'd say, all right, we got pictures of the disruption. When the pastor comes out and he's completed the service, I'll ask him a few questions about it. What's his reaction? But no, he was embedded with them. They wouldn't have done it if he wasn't filming it. That's why he's being prosecuted.
I was watching pretty much of it, but did he interview the people that were disrupting the church?
He
Was
may
there any
have,
interviews by
but
Don?
I didn't see any. He may
Me
have, but see,
neither, you know what I'm saying?
he might not have got the right answers.
Well, no, yeah, that's just true. But I'm saying that I didn't see him attacking or interviewing the people that protested the church. You know what I mean? That's kind of weird. This whole thing is weird. Our government is crazy. You know, they everybody gets twisted around and they lose the fact that, you know, we're stopping illegals coming across the border. I mean, is that right or wrong? I mean, people are saying, well, this and that, a 5-year-old, this and that is a. Well, the main question gets lost in the whole shuffle. Yes, you're going to have people that are whatever, you know, but, you know, you got to do something. Our past presidents haven't done nothing.
The people who have twisted views, who are mentally ill, are the ones that are trying to confuse the clear issue, which is illegals should not be here, number one, but criminal illegals should be removed immediately. And that's what the entire Democrat Party and all the fools in Minneapolis are protesting about and trying to prevent.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Crazy.
Absolutely
it's crazy.
insane.
It's crazy. I mean, you know, people they have to, you know, blowing those boats out of the water for the drug shipments coming with four or five motor engines on the back of the boats. People are losing it. Is that good or bad? I mean, right now they say that there's a reduction in drugs in America because of what he's doing.
Yeah.
They haven't been shipping, so now there's a lack of drugs in America, which is good, and people are losing sight of this. And then they're saying, "Well, I hate Trump, I hate this, I hate that, I hate the Republic." You got to vote for what the man. Forget about his name. The man is doing wonderful things that I never even knew that China owned the front and back of Panama with the tugboats.
Yep.
I never knew that until Trump came in. But people are losing sight of what Trump is doing. I mean, you know, yes, you're going to have this and that happening, and then they focus on the things that are less effective. But he's doing more for this country than everybody realizes. And these Democrats, like you're saying, Scranton, you know, they're not doing it. Our governor of Pennsylvania, he hasn't fought for us for the rain tax. I have to bring that up, by the way. But the rain tax.
It is quite a nuisance and headache for the people who are subject to it. I haven't followed it, and I haven't pushed against it as much as I should.
I had to mention.
Hey, Mike,
I had to mention it.
Mike, I follow my Picardo Jewelers watch, and that tells me I got to go, my friend. But thank you.
Bye.
All right, man. Mike and I agreed on everything today. That's a start. We'll take this break. It's 11:31 on my Picardo Jewelers watch. We'll hear from our great sponsors. We'll do our Veterans Tribute, the weather, and then you at 570-883-0098. By the way, where's the mayor of Scranton, Paige Cognetti, when we can't clean the snow from our streets? Oh, she's in Harrisburg. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga. Today featuring his great Serenity Care personal care community. 4 facilities in the Mid-Valley, Jessup, Old Forge, Wyoming, and Kingston. These places are gorgeous because John has completely renovated inside and out all 4 facilities. The Mid-Valley Jessup location, the Kingston location, dementia care units. They are the gold standard of senior care in Northeast Pennsylvania, and that is and was critical to John once he got involved in this business. Alan Baer, late of Vestal, New York. We lost him January 5th at age 93. He was born in Fortyfort, a loving and much-loved husband, father, grandfather. Sadly predeceased by his wife, Lois Clare, and tragically by his son, Scott. He's survived by his son, Eric, and his grandsons, Duncan and Malcolm. He worked his way through college, beginning at the University of Scranton. Then he went to Wilkes, ultimately graduating with a doctorate from Cornell University. He taught at Rutgers and SUNY New Paltz. He developed early wellness programs, a highly analytical and creative expert regarding systems. He served us in the U.S. Army and was a member of Veterans for Peace. He rebuilt a home by himself and made it climate friendly. A keen environmentalist, he ensured that his property was suitable for wildlife and birds. He had a lot of interest, award-winning photographer. He was a helmsman on racing boats. He went cruising off Sandy Hook and in the Finger Lakes. Avid reader, lover of classical music, knowledgeable of the arts. He was a commodore of the Aquaga Lake Sailing Club. Kind and generous man, not afraid to question conventional wisdom. He always rose to the occasion, his family says. Alan Baer. Roger Bellis. We lost him January 17th. He was from Dallas. Born in Kingston, raised by his late grandparents, Byron and Ethel Kester. He's a graduate of Dallas High School, class of 58. In 1962, he entered the Army Reserve, and he served us there till 1968. After that, he began a career working at Acme Metal, then later, 28 years, at the great Procter & Gamble plant in Mahoopany. He retired in 1994. He had a strong relationship with God throughout his entire life. He loved going to church, where he enjoyed singing and his fellowship with his church family. Never missed daily devotions. He enjoyed fishing, hunting. Never turned down a chance to watch an old Western. A lifelong resident of Dallas, he could often be found at the stadium for their Friday night games. Devoted husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and friend. Preceded in death by his parents, his grandparents, tragically his granddaughter, Jamie Barnes. Survived by his wife, Joyce Schoonover Bellis. They would have celebrated 63 years of marriage in a few short months. He's also survived by his daughter, a son, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and many other family members. Roger Bellis. Our great veterans this hour and their tribute, brought to you by John Basiliga and his amazing Serenity Care personal care community. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker, brought to you by the gang at Montage Mountain Resorts. I was there this weekend. It was hopping. It was fun. License plates from all over the Northeast, and everybody enjoyed it. And they said, you know what? Because I asked this, because my son went skiing Saturday. Cutie went skiing Sunday. I said, geez, wasn't it cold? They said, not when you're on the slopes. They loved it. Cloudy with a chance of flurries today, high 28. Tonight, partly cloudy and cold, low 7. Wednesday, partly sunny, high 25. Thursday, partly sunny, 25 degrees as well. All right, so that's your weather, and that was brought to you by our friends at Mount Taj Mountain. Get up there. It's the best of winter in Northeast PA. Had to wait for that. You know that. Murph tells us Elton John, this date, 1973. And that was his first number one hit. How about that? Crocodile Rock. By the way, Mr. Paul disputing whether we played a hit by the Moody Blues. And Murph said they debuted, and Mr. Paul says, I'm not sure about that. They were around since the 60s. We'll see. We'll have to have those two consult with each other, and we'll find out. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. So as we look at the scene, and I never, ever thought this would happen. I'm playing John Fetterman repeatedly because he's the only Democrat that cares to make sense. He's the only Democrat that goes against this insane orthodoxy that they've adopted. Now, he's caved here and there, but, just the fact that there's anyone in a leading position in the Democrat Party, and he's the last person I thought it would be. And we could play him every day, making sense. And there's literally no other Democrat we could play that makes sense. And I'm telling you, it is such a deep concern when we've got an entire political party, one of our two major parties, devoted to and basing everything on lies. It's not healthy. And it's not healthy to have only the Republican Party and one leader in the Democrat Party. I mean, but he actually says it and believes it. You got fools like Josh Shapiro pretending they're moderate. This guy's actually got moderate positions on a number of things, and not moderate, common sense positions. Of course ICE has to wear masks. These savages will kill them. These savages will harass their family and maybe worse. It's a crazy place we've gotten to, and it is so unhealthy to have one of our two major political parties be literally mentally ill in terms of its leadership, in terms of its policies. It doesn't make any sense. And they don't appear to care. By the way, this hour brought to you by our friend Tina Morocco, Global Sales Advisor at Premier Sotheby's International in Naples, Florida. She is your gateway to Southwest Florida. There it is. Tina Morocco equals Florida. Florida equals Tina Morocco. It's that great. You could reach her at moroccotina@gmail.com, MURACCO, Tina@gmail.com, or just go to Sotheby's, look for her name, Sotheby's in Naples. You'll find her. And by the way, just on cue, John Kennedy, who we play often, funny as hell, he praises John Fetterman as a maverick Democrat. Now, who would have thought that being someone who occasionally spouts common sense would be a maverick? That's a bit disturbing, isn't it? Let's go to Jim from Harding. Jim, how are you?
Pretty good. I was listening to Johnson. He says that there's several states out there, Democratic leaderships, that are enacting to prevent the federal no tax on tips and overtime deductions.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Did you see where, without state actions to conform the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, that $6,000 senior deductions on state level ain't gonna happen? It totally amazes me.
Wow.
And then you get all these idiot Democrats out there voting for these people.
And Jim, the big mediocre bill, there was a lot not to love about it.
Yeah.
But those three things, those three components, the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and the tax credit for Social Security recipients, those three items were the biggest working class and middle class benefits that the United States government has ever deferred or given to the American people, ever.
The thing is, they'll turn this around on Trump and all that. And, it doesn't benefit me because I make over a certain amount of money, and as a matter of fact, I'm only getting $3 less in taxes. I paid a lot of money into Social Security, like $150, $160 a week. So I paid last year $716 taxes on Social Security, and I'm paying $712, which I don't mind as long as this goes for people that need it.
Yeah.
But what gets me, one more comment, like all these cities like New York City, they're going to hole, New York going to hole, and if the Democrats get back in power in 2028, the people across the country is going to pay to bail these clowns out.
Without doubt. And there's not a doubt about it. And people are leaning that way right now, which astonished me. You know what I compared it to, Jim? I compared it to the Jews in the desert. And even though they were taken from captivity in Egypt by God and led towards their freedom, they rebelled and rebelled and rebelled, and that's sort of what we see with the American people here. I mean,
but
you do something good and they turn against you.
It ain't so much as Democrats I hate because they're idiots, but it's these Republicans that don't want to get off their butts and get out there and vote.
Well, that's a big deal. You're right. We'll be talking about all that because it's critical.
Yeah. Well, you have a good day.
All right, Jim. Always a pleasure. He gets to the point. He doesn't fool around. By the way, my man Rick Bigelow says, I went to a Moody Blues concert in L.A. in 1971. And they did Tuesday afternoon and the Knights in White Satin at that concert. So they were around and had hits before 73. By the way, for Mr. Paul and for Rick Bigelow, Murph said I mistyped it. He knew that wasn't their debut song. And so another mystery solved, which is what we do here on the Bob Cordaro Show. We'll take a break and be back after this. The Blues Brothers. Murph says this date, 1979, they had the #1 album with Briefcase Full of Blues. Soul Man, he picked. And we're going to finish. Chuck Negron, one of the great artists for Three Dog Night, has passed away. And we're going to finish with one of their songs. It's only appropriate. They really are one of my favorite bands. I just absolutely love them. The diversity of their music in terms of sound, just fabulous. Mama Told Me Not to Come. That's our finishing song. By the way, CNN breaking this. Stunning blow to Democrats. 76% of black Americans want nationwide voter ID. In other words, they want the Save America Act. White voters, 85% want it. Latino voters, 82% want it. See, it's not about their supporters. It's about insanity. By the way, somebody texted Mamdani told the truth. He said he'd eliminate the homelessness. Already 16 dead because of his stupidity, letting them freeze to death. The person who calls others Hitler off to an excellent start, exterminating innocent people. Yes. This is what scum does. This is what the left does. This is what communism does. Because they're not foreigners. These are Americans that are dying. Who cares? Nobody cares. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So I'm amazed at that. I'm, and that's from T. Bell. The percentages are off the charts. Once again, the lunatic Democrat Party taking the 20% side of an issue, and maybe getting away with it. By the way, that's the reason that they are holding up and closing down the government. That's the reason. The SAVE Act and funding for ICE, getting rid of the savages who Biden let into this country illegally. How about that? By the way, shout out my buddy Brian Dunda, his services this morning. He passed away. Great Dunda family from Dunmore. And I was at the wake last night and ran into an old great Dunmore basketball player, Mo Riley. He said, I listen every day in Florida, in Bradenton. I said, we've got more than a few Florida listeners, and we love them. By the way, somebody asked if I got a trip to Naples out of the commercials that the notices we do for Tina Morocco. No. I pay bust-out retail on everywhere I go. I prefer it that way, by the way. That way, if I don't have the money, I don't go. Final mention of our veterans today. Roger Bellis, Dallas. Alan Baer, Vestal, New York, but he was from 40 Fort. William Connor, Scranton. Clarence Whipple, Wyoming County. Sam Seminaro, Trip Park section of West Scranton. And David Charney, Harding. Our great veterans, brought to you by John Basiliga and Serenity Care. Guys, we got to go. What did Chasmo Palminteri say? He says, you don't have to go, or you can't stay. I don't even forget what it is. What? The old saying. But I can't stay because the Sue Henry show's next. Rob O'Donnell show after that. God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow morning to do more of this and go on the attack and defend this damn great country. Have a great afternoon, guys. We are adjourned. Club for Common Sense.